From the arcade machines in my favorite pizzeria to one of the best consoles and its small transition to 3D, let's talk about the crazy but fun Metal Slug 3D. Metal Slug, also known as Metal Slug Evolution and Metal Slug 3D, is a third-person shooter developed and published by SNK Playmore for the PlayStation 2 on June 29, 2006 in Japan and, well, nowhere else. It's a Japan-exclusive game, and one can only assume that its mixed reception and poor reviews are what stopped it from coming to the States, considering the game actually has English menus and surprisingly enough, English voice acting. For the season finale of UnderRadar, I felt there was no game better suited to cover than this one, so let's dive into Metal Slug 3D's story and see what we're up against. The story of Metal Slug 3D is your typical battle against Morden and his forces, taking place after the events of the first Metal Slug and leading to the second one. Marco goes it alone and sends Tarma out for reinforcements, but soon learns that Morden has joined forces with the Aguma Enterprises and his fellow comrades are missing in action. What lies in store for Marco? And what is the fate of his friends? Jump in a slug and head down, soldier. We're going on a rescue mission. Metal Slug 3D will take around 5 hours to beat, which isn't much, but I can give him a pass for this considering Metal Slug has always been about quick gameplay while you're at the arcade or your local pizzeria. I don't expect much story from Metal Slug, so having a voiced one with 3D cutscenes over the pixel art is a bit jarring, but a welcome change for someone like me who is always curious about the lore of the series. With all that covered, let's take a look at the graphics and see if this drastic change was worth the trouble. The graphics for Metal Slug 3D are actually really decent in my opinion. I love the transition to 3D, but at the same time I can see how much of the detail of the legendary 2D sprite work is missing when they made the jump. It's not perfect, but I personally enjoy it and would be okay with the 3D look if they decided to do them for only Metal Slug spin-offs instead of touching the main series. Especially since I have such a soft spot for the FD super deformed big head character style ever since I was a kid playing DK mode on the GoldenEye for the 64. The graphic can be a hit or miss, with more misses for old school fans. But in the end they took a risk and tried something new, and I have to say, I appreciate the effort. If they ever decide to come back to the 3D space, I think they could really refine their work and bring out a banger in the future. We saw the new transition to 3D, but now it's time to lend this game our ears and see how the audio stacks up. The audio for Metal Slug 3D does not disappoint, and it really stays true to the style that Metal Slug has, which is actiony, epic, and downright heroic at some point. Even the boss music helps you get into the action, readying your heavy machine gun to dissolve them with miles and miles of bullets. While the music kicks ass in every possible way a Metal Slug game does, the voice acting is, well, it's pretty decent honestly. I didn't jump in expecting something worthy of cinematic quality, but for what it is, I wasn't too disappointed. Some lines come off as flat.
Good morning, Commander. What? Mission time? It's probably just another case of bad intel. Morden's goons can't be this close by.
While others really seem like the voice actors gave it their all.
The SV Project Laboratory and Falcon Special Forces are still in action. Looks like that Allen clown has screwed up real good. Get those Ogma bozos here now!
If you're looking for me, I've been waiting here. Leader.
The remaining government forces have destroyed my secret factory!
I've heard about them. Can the Falcons really be such a fearful opponent?
Fearful? Are you implying I'm afraid of them? They're just noisy bugs that have foiled my ambitions one time too many.
In the end, I think Metal Slug 3D's audio is top notch, at least when it comes to the music. So let's see if the transition to 3D worked out with the gameplay, and if it can sell it well as a Metal Slug title. The gameplay for Metal Slug 3D is pretty much a carbon copy of every other Metal Slug game, but now with 3D environments to switch things up. You'll run and gun down your foes with familiar weapons like the heavy machine gun, the rocket launcher, the shotgun, and many more. The difference in 2D to 3D is very clear here, and it might be good or bad depending on how you felt about the 2D experience. In regular Metal Slug games, you had limited movement space, and a single hit from a projectile would have you lose a life, which made sense because back in the day these arcade shooters were made with the purpose of eating up your coins in the arcade. Metal Slug 3D, however, is more forgiving with its gameplay, allowing you to take 4 hits with iframes involved before you kick the bucket with a game over, even allowing you to continue without much penalty. So I guess you could say Metal Slug 3D is a more casual gaming experience with that respect, but it'll still offer a challenge to anyone who plays it, especially if you're a Metal Slug fan who's been used to nothing but 2D left to right action. Aside from the changes from 2D to 3D, Metal Slug 3D also offers RPG elements in the form of customization of your characters and their stats, to even the Metal Slugs themselves, as you can switch their weapons and armor and color to get you a unique machine of death. Though to be honest, I really hated how the slugs controlled in this game, and I sucked so much at it that I eventually just gave up and kept going on foot. Maybe with more upgrades they get better, but I didn't stick around long enough to find out. To end this, I will say I appreciate their efforts to stay true to the Metal Slug formula, even when it comes to things like bringing back familiar enemies you didn't think would work out. Metal Slug 3D was a gamble, and while SNK seemed to have lost that gamble in Japan, I for one appreciate the love and effort they put into it, and I'd love to see it hit internationally as a remaster or something. It may not be for everyone, but it's for me, and I'm happy with that. Well folks, this is it, the final episode of UnderRadar. I want to thank each and every one of you who has watched this show for almost half a decade. You guys made creating and uploading these all worth the effort. For now, we say goodbye to Season 1, and hopefully in the future a Season 2 will happen. If it does though, I want to make changes, because I want Season 2 to feel like an actual Season 2, and not just more of the same. At least production quality wise. Don't worry, UnderRadar will always be your one-stop shop for spotlights on games that you may feel deserve more love and attention than they should, or even games you've never heard of at all. So one last time for me guys, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more UnderRadar, and share this video around if you think we need more UnderRadar in the world. Thank you guys for another fantastic episode of UnderRadar, and I'll see you on Season 2, whenever that may be. Goodbye friends.